All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Kai, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Digix. First of all, thank you all for taking the time to join us for this live Q&A session. So we have a very broad agenda planned out for today, and I'll just begin with a short introduction about who we are. So just a little bit about myself and my work experience. It includes working in finance as a stockbroker and currency dealer on Wall Street with an international investment bank. So after approximately 4 years on Wall Street, I took whatever I had saved to start Digix together with my co-founders in 2014 because I realized that blockchain was here to stay and we could push for something great together. Now, Anthony is the CTO of Digix and Sean is our marketing director. We are all co-founders in this business together. I'll leave a short introduction about them to themselves. So Anthony.
Hello, guys. Yeah, so my name is Anthony, CTO and co-founder. I've been involved with the Ethereum community since pretty much the beginning, around late 2013, early 2014. Basically played around with POC 1 and POC 2, and basically followed the development process throughout their Frontier release. And basically, I told Kai that Ethereum is the future, and I think that we should do something on that platform. And basically gave him a lot of information about it, and finally convinced him that this is actually a pretty good yeah. So that's about
great.
it.
Awesome. And Sean, if you don't mind giving a short introduction.
Sure. Hi, everyone. So, as some of you may know, I am actually the lead coordinator of Ethereum Singapore, along with my Digix Global team here. So, we have managed to become the largest meetup group in Asia, where we stand at a total of about 280 members who attend our events on a regular basis. I got involved with Ethereum and the community early last year when Kai approached me and we wanted to do a Ethereum Foundation introduction to the community members here in Singapore. So ever since then, I took on a proactive role in terms of marketing and reaching out to the community, listening to what they want to know, listening to what they want to learn about Ethereum, and basically bringing about the word of Ethereum to the public here. So yeah, that's for about me. Thank you.
Okay, great. So I'll start with a brief introduction to what Digix is, and then proceed to highlight the vision we have for DigixDAO. So essentially, Digix itself is an asset tokenization platform on the blockchain, where you can send and receive gold assets and digital gold tokens with any Ethereum address. So we have developed this protocol to readily prove the existence of your gold on the blockchain. This protocol is basically an asset tracking system using blockchain technology and real-world governance. Now, more information about this process, this proof of asset protocol, can be found in our white paper on our main site. So this is what we have created so far for the past year: a safe, verifiable, and transparent mechanism for gold-backed tokens. Now, we have deployed the live contracts for this platform on Jan 15 of this year, and so far we have seen about $30,000 in USD worth of sales revenue so far in the past few weeks. Now, we do have reason to believe that Digix Gold tokens is highly scalable, and this can only be done with the community support. Now, essentially, Ethereum itself is a supercomputer where everyone is free to build applications on, and with its very open nature will make it very easy for digital gold tokens to be integrated into any future developments on the blockchain. So if you look at eGold, the very first iteration of digital gold itself had a turnover of 2 billion USD per year, even without an open API system like Ethereum. So we expect that we could scale as large as them. Now, in this new economy, for instance, Digix Gold tokens can be used to pay for goods and services online, can be used as a form of wealth preservation. You could even use it to make a market on Augur. It can also be used to develop various collateral or lending platforms that would soon emerge in the coming months on Ethereum. So what exactly is DigixDAO? Now, DigixDAO itself is a way for all of us to work together to achieve scalability without a financial middleman. The current structure in finance doesn't really allow for active financial inclusion of the masses and direct, transparent incentives to its stakeholders. What Digix does is a revision of how corporations should be run. It basically allows individuals to build what they want the organization to be. So instead of using a traditional top-down hierarchical approach to building companies, Digix will be more of a bottom-up governance where Digix, essentially the employees of the DAO, would submit project proposals to build the platform the way the token holders want it. So the DAO token holders have the final say as to what projects should be approved or not. It's not Digix themselves. So DigixDAO is structured such that the individual that supports this cause have a direct influence in developing the goal platform and be rewarded for it. Now, some projects that we propose, as an example, includes planned integration of EtherX, which is a peer-to-peer exchange where you could buy, sell Digix Gold tokens, DAO tokens for, say, Rep tokens, Slockit tokens, Ether, or any other Ethereum-based asset, peer-to-peer, without having to send your funds first to a centralized exchange. And the next planned integration would be with virtual currency payment processors, such as Coinify, to access their 10,000 plus worth of merchants. So in this case, you would be able to use Digix Gold tokens to pay for goods and services online. So please have a look at our Crowdsale document to see these examples in detail if you have not already done so. So what do users get for supporting DigixDAO? In return for your support, you'll get a few rewards. One, it would be transaction fees of gold tokens on this Ethereum network based on the number of DigixDAO tokens that you own. Number two, you automatically have a voice in directing developments around the Digix Gold platform by being able to pledge your support or rejection of project proposals submitted by Digix Global, as well as those users with a proposal badge. So I will just hand over the time to Anthony to explain how project proposals are being approved and rejected by token holders. Thank you.
Hey guys, yeah. So basically, it's a very simple flow for submitting proposals. So you have, like as Kai had mentioned earlier, we have token holders as well as proposer badge holders. So the proposer badge holders can submit a proposal, and it will start with a proposal which contains basically some information about the project itself. So it would kind of look like this structure over here, which will have a document that's actually attached to IPFS, and that document will contain the budget for the project, the rationale for that project, as well as the milestones for that project, and it will also have the pledging time for it. So once a proposal has been submitted, then goes into the what we call the vetting queue. So the founders, the proposers, can and proposers can vet whether or not they want to put that for a pledge. They can decline it, and the proposal is canceled. If they approve it, goes into the pledging stage of that proposal. That means that every token holder can then vote a yes or no to approve or decline it. And if it gets approved, then the project funds that are specified for that project are then released to start and complete the project. That's pretty much the flow here that we have, and you guys can ask me more questions later in the Q&A section.
That's great. So we'd just like to open the floor to any questions that you have. I believe there's a button for you to send in questions privately, or you could always share your question directly in the public chat.
Yep, so on the right panel of the webinar Citrix receiver, you would see a tab titled Questions. please type a question there and we will take it shortly. For any Chinese listeners out there as well, 各位观众，如果您有任何的问题，你想要我们的管理人员回答的话，请输入在右手边的辩论格，我将会帮你翻译你的问题，以及以华语回复你。谢谢。So I believe there's a first question from George. Could we actually pledge changes of the fee?
So the fee itself is what does that does that mean, like the fees for the Digix gold tokens? That is possible. It's currently not coded. It will require some code changes on the Digix gold platform to. Actually, no, it doesn't require it. But we do have to change the multi-sig for changing that setting. We can discuss that offline. It might be a good idea. Maybe at some point in time we want to increase the fees or decrease it. But yeah, that's a very good question.
Yeah, I think Anthony, relating to the fees as well, we had a couple of discussion on the Slack group where we were trying to benchmark different fees for structuring the proposal, because I believe in different countries or different cities where we mostly operate in, fees for, let's say, like a UI developer could vary. So how would this be actually discussed among the proposals?
Yeah, so as far as the costs for a project itself, before we submit a proposal, we will definitely provide you guys with some providers that we might work with that will provide us with a budget on how much something will cost for us to develop. Maybe we need somebody to do our UI, or somebody to do some type of integration with another system. So we'll try to get the best cost possible for the DAO. And you guys can also recommend people, and we can determine what the best option is.
I see. Great. Okay. The next question we have from Jack is, how do the token holders actually make money? Like how will you guys make money from the token holder of a DigixDAO, the DigD token?
So the DigD tokens, depending on your share of the DigD tokens, you will receive the transaction fees from the gold platform. So if let's say we do about $2 billion worth of transactions in 1 year, that's divided over 3 months, then you would get a portion of that as a token holder.
Yeah, I think that the token holder will stand to receive 0.13% of all transaction fees that are operated on the Digix core system, which is essentially the Go platform. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, and it will be capped definitely at 1 gram at the maximum. So, for example, if 1,000 gram of transactions would be to be run through the Digix core, at only 1 gram of DGX token will be charged as a transaction fee. The 0.13% will be floored at 1 gram, basically. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
And just to add on to that, we have reason to believe that many transactions would fall below that 1,000 gram capacity.
Yep, right. So for next question from Freddie, what safeguards are there for not ending up like Eagle and getting all the gold confiscated in the business here that we operate?
Yep, okay, so I'll field that question. So basically, Eagle wasn't the only example of digital gold that existed in the economy. Since the 90s, we have e-diners, and even at present times, there are a couple of digital gold companies that have sprouted out. Some prominent examples would be BitGold, Coeptis, Anthem Vault, and several others. So the taking down of Eagle is just one unique case. We believe that if we were to work with regulators properly, then such an incident would not occur. Singapore itself is a very sound and safe jurisdiction for gold, and its laws regarding physical gold bullion is straightforward and very simple. Basically, gold is being censured as a physical commodity. It's essentially the same as purchasing, say, a luxury handbag, for instance. It doesn't have to go through really crazy KYC procedures at this current moment. Besides, the dealings of virtual currencies in Singapore is unregulated. I could link you to the exact regulations with regards to this. Basically, MAS, the Monetary Association of Singapore, the central bank, has said that virtual currencies are not recognized as legal tender, nor are they considered as securities. So at this moment in time, with regards to the law, we are okay. Having said that, we are prepared to go with any changes as we work with the regulators very closely.
Yes, and I'd like to add to that as well. So a lot of the issues that really came from the e-gold shutdown was because of they did not have the proper know your customer and anti-money laundering procedures into place. And with Digix strategy is that we're actually going to be partnering up with exchanges and merchant processors to accept Digix Gold tokens. So they would be handling most of that AML and KYC part. And as far as redeeming the gold assets, we do require physical ID for people redeeming the gold. So we do have some stopgap measures as far as anti-money laundering in place. And also we're working with Viewport to basically add blockchain-based identity and KYC support in our app in the future.
Great. I hope that answers
Yes.
the question.
So Uport. Sorry, let me just add on to that. So Uport will be something that we integrate into our application as and when regulations change regarding virtual currencies. So that's what we have in preparation for that.
Yeah, that's definitely a strategic one, given the climate of regulations that may evolve in the next couple of years. So the next question we have is, I think it was partly answered earlier on, but I'll just mention it again. So will the Digix coins be sold on exchanges after the Crowdsale?
Yes, so we are planning several parallel integrations currently. We're talking to a couple of exchanges right now to try and list our Ethereum-based assets. We are also planning to integrate EtherX, which allows you to do so peer-to-peer. Now, if you look at the market currently, there are no exchanges that accepts Ethereum-based tokens. I think that's a technical reason for that. Maybe Anthony, you could further elaborate on why Ethereum-based assets are not currently listed in centralized virtual exchanges.
Yeah, so currently exchanges are still just working with Ether to exchange for other virtual with cryptocurrencies right now. But they do, like, I know that they are many of the exchanges are planning on adding Ethereum-based assets onto that, including Coinify. So Coinify made a press release about accepting Ethereum-based assets in the future. So it's basically just waiting for them to have that available for us. An example is Gatecoin. Gatecoin already has added rep tokens as part of their they bought some pre-sale. So I think it really will have to come from the community to push them to develop that feature so that we can get on board. But it is not a problem for us to add our tokens on the exchanges.
Right. So next question is, how do you manage counterparty risk to hold the gold in one vault? This is a question posed by Marius.
Yeah, so I'll field this question. Well, unfortunately, counterparty risk will always be in existence unless that physical gold bullion is kept in your hands and right in front of you. But we have did our best to mitigate this risk by coming out with our proof of asset protocol. This is essentially a tri-party agreement between different entities in the entire process. Now, we only work with companies that are established, that have demonstrated a track record in what they're doing. So in this manner, with the right incentives, it makes it very difficult for anyone to cheat the system, so to speak. Now, the supplier that we use, ValueMax itself, is an IPO public company in Singapore. Malka Amit itself is located at the Freeport, which is the Fort Knox of Asia, basically. Now they're in charge of storing physical gold from banks as well. Now this vault itself is being insured by Lloyd's. So in terms of insurance, we are covered as well. Now we are also using an independent auditor, Bureau's Veritas Inspectorate, to do a quarterly audit of our gold holdings. So these are the safeguards that we have in place, marries real-world governance with our technology to reduce as much counterparty risk as possible.
Okay, so yeah, I think the question was pretty clear that we explained the different oracles that participate on our proof of asset protocol. So the next question is, are we going to be opening to change the amount of DGD tokens that will be available? Most people will want more than 2 million. I think for that right now we have a cap of 2 million tokens because they are not priced per token but priced as of the contribution of the entire sale. Yeah, maybe Anthony, you want to add more about the sizing of the number of tokens available?
Yes. So we do have a schedule to submit an automatic proposal every 2 years to increase the allocation of the tokens. And a proposal can also be submitted at any time by the proposers to increase that token, and it will be put up for vetting and pledging. And if that gets approved, then a new crowd sale system or a new crowd sale contract gets added that will actually allow people to buy in. So the current token holders will have the plan right now is for the current token holders to have some type of special price that they can go in for just for holding the tokens already. So that is part of the DAO. So they people can actually propose to increase the number of tokens.
Yep. So the DAO is pretty much a really flexible way of allowing anyone to have a say on what they want to see. Once again on Digix. Yeah. So the next question is, are we planning to hold gold in different jurisdictions and not just in Singapore?
Yes, we have plans for that, but currently, due to the limited resources that we have to remain and keep our operations in Singapore. Also, it helps in due diligence because we are a party to the entire process. If we were to engage in overseas vaults, then that might increase counterparty risk because then due diligence itself would have to depend on the contractors that we have overseas. And it would be harder for us to resolve any issues when it comes to that. Having said that, if we had the adequate funds, for instance, that we raised through DigixDAO, we could think about expansion and we could work out in detail how we could do this in a very highly secure manner. But at this point in time, we don't see a need to do so because our tokens are already free to be moved on the Ethereum platform itself. So having it in different jurisdictions does not really add to the functionalities of Digix Gold tokens since it's already internationalized.
Probably the only meaningful reason that people will be asking for gold in different jurisdictions would go to the idea of redemption, because right now at Digix we only allow redemption of the physical gold bars in Singapore itself. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So the thing that, sorry, John, let me just add on to that. Now you could always do a private request, a private redemption from us. Just send us an email and we can work through how to ship that specific gold bar that you wish to redeem to your home country. Now Valtoro has the same plans in place, implementation in place, where if you emailed them privately, they could work out the exact cost and fee structure of shipping the gold bullion to your relevant jurisdiction. So we could definitely do that through private requests.
Yeah, all right. So the next question is, could we possibly explain the gold standard financial platform on Ethereum? Maybe Anthony, you want to add a point or two on this?
Yes. So Digix is the first and probably the only gold-based asset token on Ethereum right now, and I think that we are ahead, like of anybody trying to innovate right now because of our technology and also of our name recognition in the Ethereum community. It will be very difficult for another company to compete. So I think we are the gold standard right now. Next question.
Oh, sorry, next question. Okay, so do we actually intend to collaborate, or do we actually collaborate with any other Ethereum debt companies?
Yes, we do. So we have a couple of press releases. I think they can be Googled, and they're mainly on IB Times UK. So we have a collaboration with Free My Bank, which is a digital gaming platform where I believe you could in future exchange in-game items from different gaming platforms with one another peer-to-peer. Now, Free My Bank has agreed to allow for Digix tokens to be used as a mode of exchange, a medium of exchange for in-game digital assets. The next collaboration we have is with Consensus on Uport, the persona and identity system that we have spoken about. Now, we are always open to collaborations, and if any of you have any more suggestions or people to reach out to, we'll definitely look into that.
Yep, I've just dropped the link for the press release under the chat panel on the right, so you guys can hit up the URL and have a look on that. Next question is, would the Ether value be hedged? I think Marius, referring to this question is, would the Ether collected during the crowd sale be hedged? I think that's a question.
Yes. So currently we don't have the plans for that, but we are open to some suggestions on who can provide a hedge for us. But in the future, we are looking to actually integrate with Maker. So Maker is another company that has that is actually going back to the previous question, collaborating with us. They're going to be adding Digix Gold and Digix assets into their stablecoin as a form of collateral, physical asset collateral for their stablecoin. So once they have launched and they have enough volume, we are planning on storing some of our Ether into the DAI tokens. So that would serve us as a volatility prevention / hedge for us.
I see. Okay. And could we actually provide an example of how Digix would participate in the lending business?
Right. So if you look at companies like BTC Jam, where it facilitates Bitcoin to Bitcoin peer-to-peer lending, where basically anyone in the world could call for funds, people around the world could send them Bitcoins, and then earn an interest rate with the principal at the final term sheet. So in the same case, you could do that with Digix tokens in future. There would be lending platforms available where you could submit and send Digix tokens and then earn a return on it, as well as getting back the principal at the end. So we believe this is a revisioning of how peer-to-peer exchanges, peer-to-peer lending would work on Ethereum in future, where any Ethereum-based assets can be used as collateral in such future platforms. Now, we also have been in talks with some developers who are interested in building such a platform. So we're confident, and we do expect that such platforms would be available once Ethereum is at serenity.
Okay, I hope that answers the question, Marius. Anthony, were you about to add on to anything, or can I move on to the next question?
Yeah.
If I were to be buying the DGX token using EtherX or Poloniex, do I still pay the 0.13%?
For EtherX, yes, you will be paying. You will be paying the fee because EtherX is peer-to-peer, so that goes from our ledger to this, on the same ledger. But if an exchange will have like an off-chain type of transaction, then the only transaction fee that the system can collect at this point is when it comes back into the ledger. So when it settles back to the user's wallet, not their exchange wallet. And I think that we will get some volume on that, but I think that there's more people that are going to be sending these tokens as a form of payment between each other to their wallets than using an exchange. And I think that there is now sort of the industry is now really moving towards more of the against off ledger type transactions. because of a lot of the security risks that exchanges are exposed to. People uh, are more keen on doing wallet-to-wallet transactions and exchange-to-wallet to exchange type transactions. And with EtherX, we can charge the transaction fees because that is wallet-to-wallet.
I see. Yeah. So next question from George, I believe we had it answered earlier on, is do we see the feasibility in the long term to contract with a custodian of any vault in Switzerland or in any other country? We do have plans for expansion to this, but this will actually depend on the resources available here at Digix. So yeah, that will be further looked into down the pipeline. The next question is from Han, and so he was asking if can we just canvas anybody to invest, or are there accredited investor limitations?
Well, currently there are no investor limitations because we're dealing with virtual currencies to virtual currencies. So that's the whole point of the Crowdsale. With regards to Singapore law currently, as mentioned before, the MAS does not regulate nor consider virtual currencies to be legal tender, nor as a security. So based on that alone, we would say that there is no limit or hard cap to how much an investor could invest or could support DigixDAO.
Right, and also because our model is a reward-based rather than an equity-based model, that actually is not under the that's not covered under the current MAS crowdfunding laws right now. So we are we are exempted from that.
Yeah.
We can provide you with that link online where reward-based crowd sales are not currently covered under the crowdfunding legislation.
Yep. So like with any other investment vehicle, if you're looking to invest in or looking to purchase, we always urge you to be really familiar with the terms. So that's why we're doing such a Q&A, or we reach out to people just to make sure they understand exactly what they're getting into. So the next question would be, are there any plans that third party are going to make an audit over the DAO code? Would there be peer review by Solidity coders?
Yes, we're open to that. Obviously we need to find the right team to audit that, and we will be open sourcing some portions of our platform just for that very reason. So it will be audited.
So next question from Freddie is, what if no investor qualifies for the proposal batch during the crowd sale? And the second part of the question is, what happens if one of the founder leaves the DAO?
So the founder itself is just basically a proposer badge holder. There is no other special powers for the founder badge holder on the DAO. The only thing they can do is actually submit a proposal that goes directly to the pledging queue, and that's really for doing updates to the code. So anything that we need to do updates on the DAO, like whether it's to change something on Solidity, to fix a bug, that can be done through an emergency type of proposal. So that is the only power that the founder badge holder would have.
All right.
As far as the investors, no investor qualifies for a proposer badge. We will see. We will find a way to figure out who has the most contributions and distribute based on the average. So that we're open to that. But we think that there are going to be people that will be submitting, paying that much. So we'll see.
Yep. I think Jack was asking a question that was answered a little earlier as well. So is the DAO going to hedge a possible fall of the Ether prices? I think this was answered earlier on. Anthony, maybe you want to add a quick line or two on that.
Yeah. So as long as we find a good option for hedging, we're open to hedging it. Like I had mentioned earlier, Maker has a stable coin, which we are looking to actually use to hold the value of of the ether that we raised from the crowd sale. And we have spoken to Rune, who's the founder of Maker, and we've told him about our plans, and he said that once they're ready, he'll let us know when that is available. So we will be keeping you guys up to date on that closer to the date when they release it. And then there will be a proposal to actually move the funds from the DAO contract into the Maker ledger, so that we hold the balances into Maker.
Okay,
so
great.
People will be able to propose and submit proposal on that as well.
Okay, yeah, it's all about proposal pledging, and we're really open to the idea. So that was the whole idea behind DigixDAO, is that we're really open to any suggestions that the token holder like you could actually participate on. And the next question is, can't we buy DGX tokens with DAO's Ether? Is that a possibility?
Absolutely. If there was a proposal submitted to buy gold, we definitely can buy gold with that if everybody votes for it. So the proposals are very open-ended. Anybody can really submit one. We will have a form, a standard form where people can submit the proposals. If you are not a proposal badge holder, but you still want to submit something, we have a public chat that you can join, and we will have basically an open forum for people to suggest, and we can put together a proposal if there's enough people looking for a feature or for something that the DAO to do. Any ideas? We are very open to that. So even if if people do not have proposer badge, we are still open to that process. So we can still submit a vetted proposal, and the founders can then decide whether or not that's something that people should vote on. And if there is a lot of community support for it, and it is something that we can take action on and accomplish, then we're open to it.
Okay, great. Yeah, definitely we're always open to suggestions. I think Freddie as well, he made a comment that we can look at BitMEX for hedging Ether price. It was a great suggestion from him. The next question we will take, pretty much for last few ones. At what development stage are we with our platform?
So we are still in beta with the DigixGold platform is still in beta, and we have mentioned that in our app. We still have a very crude version of our UI, which we're working on updating. And there are some changes that we are working on for the Homestead release, which we will be publishing on a blog to tell people how to migrate their tokens to the new system once that's ready. So we are currently in beta. We recommend to people not to invest more than they could risk to lose right now. So right now it is beta, but we will be launching in full release shortly after Homestead is launched.
Sure. All right. So I think that was the last question that was around. If you guys have any more questions, you can always write to us through our support page on the Sail website. The Sail site is sail.digix.io. Once again, it's sail.digix.io. Alternatively, you could always reach out to us on Slack as well. So there's no other questions. Is there anything else from Anthony and Casey you'd like to add as well?
Yes. So if you guys have some questions about more questions, you can join our Slack chat. So I don't know if you guys have all are on the Slack chat, but if you don't, please let me know, and I can send you guys an invite. And also, as far as the development is, I wanted to give an update on the development. We have been working on the DAO contracts, and we just actually recently made the repo to the DAO DAO contracts on GitHub. So I had put that link up on the chat. And so if you scroll up to the third message, it should have the link to that. And please look at that. If you guys are Solidity programmers, you guys can take a look at it and provide feedback. It is still a work in progress. So there's a lot of things that are still missing on it. We're writing the tests, full end-to-end tests for it this week, and we should have it ready by end of this week or early next week. for people to actually fully test and look through.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think that's all. And Casey, you have any question to add as well? Anything else to add?
No, I'm good for now.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining this session of Q&A. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We will speak to you again on Slack, or if you want to join us in the next webinar, which will be held on Friday, Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah, Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, everyone.
That's a Friday on Asia time. Yeah, thanks, guys.